crazy tennis story. So I played high-level tennis as high as second Bundesliga in Germany. For you guys that know what that means, I also played Division I college tennis, was top 40 in the nation. I was inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame at my university, Murray State. So when I was done with college tennis, I could have gone on and played the future circuit. I was good enough to play at that level, and who knows how far I would have gotten. But I decided to start teaching immediately because I do love teaching tennis. It's my passion. But also at that moment in time, I had absolutely no money, and I would have had to ask someone for money, and I would never ask my parents to give me money to play futures tournaments. So I decided right away I'm going to start teaching. However, I have played some futures tournaments here and there. The last one I played was here in Florida, and I did okay. I made it to the final of the qualies. I played against a really good player, and I lost in 3 sets. And then when I was teaching in Hawaii, I played a wildcard tournament where the winner would get a main draw wildcard for a futures. And I ended up winning the wildcard tournament, and there I am. I got a wildcard for the main draw. I'm super excited. So what happened was, at that moment in time, I was already teaching for a couple of years, and I had gotten rid of all my rackets. I had sold them all because I played the Wilson Hyper Hammer 5.2. Why I sold them, it's a long story. We don't have to get into that. You can watch a video titled My Racket History on YouTube to find out why I sold the rackets. But in any case, I only had one racket left, and this is the racket I was playing with. So, of course, I wanted to have it freshly strung for my match. So I ended up stringing the racket. And for any of you guys that string rackets, you know that sometimes things can get caught in the strings. When you pull a string, you can get some objects caught in here. So you have to make sure that there's nothing there. So unfortunately, when I strung this racket only maybe an hour before the match, because I was teaching that morning, when I was finished, I tied the knot and everything. I noticed I had the tweezers that I used to cut the strings. They got stuck in one of the strings, and they were stuck to the racket. So I spent the next 10 minutes or so prying these tweezers out of the string in order to save the string job, because I did not have time to string it again. And once I pulled them out, unfortunately, there was a little bit of slack there, and now the string was super loose on top. So needless to say, this racket was pretty close to being unplayable, because if you caught the ball a little higher, you had absolutely no control. And if you caught it a little bit lower, you could actually play okay with it. So I went on to this match. I played Alex Reichel, who was a good player, and I did okay. I think the score was 7-5, 6-3 or something like that. I'm not super sure, but I had chances in the first set. But in any case, my boss back in those days when I was teaching in Hawaii was a guy called Tim DiDonato, and he hosted not only the Futures tournament, but he also hosted a Challenger, and he decided to give me a wild card into the qualies of the Challenger. And there I was playing in the first round of the qualies against a guy called T. Chen, a very good player. Back in those days, he was ranked 200 something ATP. And I'm playing really well. I get into a tiebreak and I'm up 4-2. And the court I was playing on was like this. It was my court here, and there was a court right behind. And as you probably know, a lot of times leaves will fly on the court. So my boss back in the day decides to start blowing the leaves right behind me. So I was serving right here, and Tim starts to blow the leaves when I was up 4-2 in the tiebreak right behind me. And this destroyed me mentally. I was so pissed. I'm like, why are you blowing the leaves right now? I ended up losing my concentration, losing the tiebreak. I think I had a couple of set points, and then in the second set, I played horrible and lost, I think, 6-2 or 6-3. Now, I don't blame Tim. He was a hands-on tournament director, and he was cleaning the court, so it's perfectly okay thing to do. It was my fault for allowing myself to get distracted, but nevertheless, my 2 experiences playing at the extremely high level when I was teaching in Hawaii came with a bunch of misfortune.